okay, let's talk about pets. I'm here in the garage today, but this is where this came to me, so this is what we're doing. And I'm going to start off by saying that is the last time in this video you're going to hear me say the word pets, because I don't do pets. I do animals. And where I'm at, there is actually a difference between the two of those. So I take all kinds of animals. I've had everything from rats, I've had snakes, obviously I've had dogs and cats. The only animals that I don't do hamsters, and I don't do gerbils, and I don't do ferrets. Ferrets piss all over themselves the moment they come out of the bathtub, so they stink like piss 5 minutes later. Hamsters and gerbils, no adult has one of those, and so they're for little Tommy or little Susie. And little Tommy or little Susie is going to forget to clean the cage as often as they should, and mom or dad's going to want to not be up their ass all the time, poking them with a stick, making them do it, and so the house is going to smell like hamster shit. Hamsters stink. Gerbils are the same thing. They're just a hamster that's different shape. There's no difference between the two of those. So right now, I've got a lot of dogs, and I've got a few cats even. Cats, I find, are actually pretty okay because generally speaking, they don't chew on stuff. Dogs won't chew on stuff generally if they have something else to chew on. So the only time dogs are chewing your baseboards and corners of drywall and shit like that is A, if they're neglected, or B, if they're teething, which is for most dogs around 6 months old. But if they're teething, you can't stop them from chewing on frickin' everything. So I don't do animals that are under a year of age because I don't want to go through the teething phase. I also don't do animals under a year of age because I don't want to teach my target is 20-somethings, like strictly 20-somethings from second year university, second year out of their home, all the way up until they buy a house, and generally speaking, that's 20-somethings. And I don't want to teach them how to be a responsible animal owner. So if that dog is 2 years old and they've had it for 2 years and they haven't got evicted, they're probably not a shitty owner. And so I'm going to probably be okay with them. If that dog is 8 weeks old and they don't have a dog currently, they're going to have to learn some shit. And I don't want them learning that at my expense. So I don't do dogs under a year. I don't do ferrets. I don't do gerbils, and I don't do hamsters. So let's talk about how not to decide to take animals. So what I hear most often is, I put up a place for rent and I didn't click animal friendly, but everybody that replies has got like 3 dogs and 2 cats. And so should I just take animals? First of all, no, you shouldn't just take animals. That's a really bad idea. Just crossing out that clause on your lease that says no pets or no animals, whichever way it's phrased. Don't just do that. There's more to it than that. You need to have systems in place and processes that will actually allow you to monitor, is this person a shitty owner, and is this animal acting the way that it's supposed to act on site? And so if you don't have those in place, the answer is no, don't take animals. You need to get that stuff sorted prior, or you're going to learn lessons at your expense. I don't like learning lessons at my expense. The cheaper lessons are had by asking other people or listening to videos like this, and fire me an email. I'll tell you all the stupid shit that I've done. So do not decide when you get that sob story reply saying, hey, my dog is dying of cancer and he's very old and he's only got a few months left, but we love the yard and we just want him to live out his last days in peace. And then, unfortunately, he's only got a few months left because of this and that. And you're going to say yes, because you're not a shitty human. You're going to be like, oh man, this is awful. I can help these people, so I will. And you're going to say yes. And then when you say yes, 6 months later, you're going to go over there and you're going to look and you're going to be scared to ask because maybe the dog is dead. But then all of a sudden, this freaking 1-year-old dog full of life is going to come by and they're like, yeah, he actually beat cancer. It was a miracle. And then all of a sudden, you're going to look and Jesus, is that dog pregnant? And well, fuck me, it is. And all of a sudden, you've got 5 dogs running around and you thought you were going to have 1 dog for 4 months, but you got 5 dogs for like the next 10 years now. Good job. So you don't want to think about it like that. You don't want to be underprepared for this. This is not something that just you decide to do and change nothing else. That's not how it goes. Next up, one thing you have to do is you've got to have a crate clause in your lease for both dogs and cats. Other animals like the snake, obviously it's in a terrarium or fish are in an aquarium. I don't do fish either, actually, now that I think of it. I just don't do aquariums, so I don't do fish. You want that crate requirement because if you have a contractor over, first of all, your insurance might need you to have that. My insurance doesn't, but your insurance might say, yeah, you got to have that animal, locked up. Because if one of your contractors gets chomped, well, all of a sudden you got a situation. And now maybe it costs you money. At the very least, it's going to cost you, like a good help. You're going to lose that if they go to your house and they get chomped. They're not going to be too impressed with you. They're probably not picking up the phone first ring. So you want to have a crate requirement, and you want that requirement to explicitly state a bedroom's not good enough. What happens when you put a dog or a cat in a bedroom and it gets curious about what's going on, some banging and clanging, and the plumbers, there's new people talking, I hear new voices, and it's behind a bedroom door. First of all, a lot of dogs are going to go ape shit, which means now you got to noise complaints. Noise complaints are bullshit. I don't like those. And a lot of dogs and cats will start scratching the shit out of that door because they think that, even if they're happy dogs or happy cats, they're going to want to see that person, right? So I've got 3 dogs right now that are my top 3 tenants. I've got Charlie, I've got Blue, and I've got Grizz. Charlie is literally like a Walmart greeter. If I put him behind a door and a new contractor, plumber, carpenter, whatever it is, coming into the house, Charlie wants to say hi. He's just a happy guy, but he starts chewing the shit out of that door. He cannot be just in a bedroom. Charlie has to be in a crate. So that's why you have those clauses like that. Now, one thing I do not recommend you do as well is do not separate out animal rent from people rent. So where I'm at, I can charge, they call it pet rent. I don't like that term, but they call it pet rent. So I could charge that. I could charge you, say, $1,700 a month to rent my place and $300 a month for the 2 dogs. I don't do that. I just charge $2,000. And I charge $2,000 because if you decide to be a shitty human and you go dump the dog in the woods or both dogs in the woods, rent doesn't change. Rent doesn't change because there is no pet rent. So just because you got rid of the pet doesn't mean your rent changes. And so here's how I use that exact clause in my lease as a screening tool. So you sit down, I've sent you all the documents digitally to sign, I've sent you all the instructions, and you go through there and you look and you say, well, there's no pet rents here. So you're probably, before you sign them, you're going to get in contact with me, you're going to fire me a text, we're going to talk on the phone. And you say, Chris, hey, just a couple questions. First one is, we're paying $1,700 for rent and then $300 for the 2 dogs, right? And I'm going to say, no. That's not right. You're paying $2,000 rent. And the reason why you're paying $2,000 rent is because if you decide to be a shitty human and you dump your dogs in the woods, or you give them away to a friend, or you just leave the gate open because you're extra stupid and the dogs disappear, your rent doesn't change. Are you going to be a shitty human and do anything like that? And you're obviously on the phone. You're going to say, well, of course not. I'm not a shitty human. I would never do that. These dogs are my world. I would never get rid of them even if they pooped on my pillow and I woke up in the morning to a turd. Never going to happen. I'm going to say, excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. And that's why that clause is there. It's because I'm testing you to see, are you a terrible human or not? But also, even if you're not a terrible human, remember we've got that animal addendum there that says you've got to do certain things. So when little Killer Kaminsky, the pride of Churchbridge, Saskatchewan, your bull terrier shits all over the lawn, you've got to pick it up every day. Are you going to pick it up every day? And you're going to think to yourself, well, yeah, I could probably do that. I'm going to remind you, I'm going to tell you, even when it's 30 below and it's a blizzard, because it's freaking cold where we are for 4 months of the year, you're going to freeze your tits off. Are you going to pick up turds every day? And you're going to pause and you're going to think about it. You're going to remember that time at 6 a.m. where you didn't want to go out there and do it. And then you're going to say, yeah, I can do that. I could probably do that. I'm confident I can do that because I know that if I don't do that, little Killer Kaminsky, the pride of Churchbridge, Saskatchewan, my bull terrier, is going to get evicted, but I'm still going to have to pay the same rent. And then I'm going to be extra pissed off because I'm paying 2 G's, $300 extra a month. I still don't have, Kevin's gone. He's just gone. And so that's how you can use something like that, specific clauses in your lease as screening tools. You use them as the brown M&M of, this is going to set off an alarm. I'm going to get a question about this, and then I'm going to press. I'm going to press that button hard. I'm going to explain to them the pain if they fuck that up. And if they still are good to go, they're probably actually good to go. But if they back out, you've avoided a giant frickin' hassle for the next, however long your lease is, 12 months. Some places, there's no way you're going to be able to evict anyway. So, permanently, you're avoiding a hassle just because you explain to them, if you screw this up, this is the pain that's going to happen. And so I would encourage you, think about, if you're going to allow animals, exactly how you're going to allow animals, because it's not as easy as just getting rid of that no pets clause and calling it good. When you show up 6 months later and the cat is pissed everywhere, I've remediated cat piss. It's horrible. It's the worst thing that I have done in real estate, and I've done it twice. It's profitable, but it is horrible. So don't set yourself up for that. You can prevent these things by doing it the right way, or you can learn the lessons by doing it the wrong way. It's a lot cheaper to prevent them. I'll talk to you next time.